Her mother has been charged with leaving her 3 children, young children, alone in a house for a week. And they were only rescued after a fire broke out.
We begin tonight with a Columbia mother facing charges after police say her 3 young children were left home alone when a fire ripped through their house last night. Now, firefighters able to rescue those children from the burning home, but tonight all 3 in critical condition at the Augusta Burn Unit. Our Kara Daniel tracking that story tonight. She's live in the neighborhood where it all happened. Fire officials and police just talking about this case a little while ago. Kara, what do we know here?
Yeah, Brian, investigators say firefighters found the children inside that door after forcing their way through the front. Now their mother is in jail as several agencies work to figure out what sparked the flames. Columbia Fire Chief Aubrey Jenkins says crews were called to a home on Florence Street around 9:30 Monday night after reports came in about that fire. When firefighters got there, they had to force their way in through the front door, and there was smoke coming from inside of the house. The fire was near the front of the home, while those 3 children, just 6, 4, and 2, were found near the back of the house. Fire crews were able to pull them out of the house, and they were rushed to Columbia Hospital before being transferred to the Augusta Burn Center. Police say no adults were in the home when firefighters got there. The children's mother, 28-year-old Zaina Odin, is now facing 3 counts of unlawful conduct towards a child after police say Odin didn't even contact law enforcement after she learned about the fire. The fire marshal's office and SLED are also investigating.
Yeah, it sounds like she needs to be in prison. It's one thing to where you leave your children alone, but it's another thing to where your children has been in an accident. You know something deadly almost happened, and you don't reach out to law enforcement at all. You deserve to be in prison, and you are the worst type of mother. We got to be honest about it. Let's keep going.
Could have been a whole lot worse. And that, again, as a parent, these are the calls that you always remember. She deserves to be in jail, and I will be at her bond setting to make sure she stays there.
Well, had they not got in as quick as they did, or if there was any type of time delay, it could have been worse.
Investigators are asking anyone with information to please contact the Columbia Police Department or the Crime Stoppers. Now on the news at 10, we will talk to a neighbor that saw it all happen in Columbia. I'm Kara Daniel. Watch Fox News Local First.
Something always going down. Let's get over into this next video and see what else it tells us when I actually see her in court.
We're starting now with new details in the case of 3 children, ages 2, 6, and 4, who were critically injured after a North Columbia house fire. Both parents facing a judge for the very first time just a couple of hours ago. And now News 19's Jamin Wade is sharing the disturbing new details from investigators who say the living conditions were unimaginable.
3 children remain in critical condition after a North Columbia house fire. While investigators now describe disturbing conditions they say the children were living in before the blaze. A judge set bond Wednesday for both Zaina Odin and Malik Locke, who are each charged with 3 counts of unlawful conduct towards a child. Prosecutors say Locke is the father of one of the children and helped care for all 3. But court testimony quickly shifted focus to the children's condition. Investigators say the 4-year-old was found unresponsive during the rescue. They also told the court the youngest child was malnourished. All 3 children had scarring on their bodies, and no adults were inside the home when the firefighters arrived.
When law enforcement went into the home, it was very clearly in deplorable conditions. There were bugs and mites. There was food everywhere. Things were unsanitary and uninhabitable.
Court testimony also painted a picture of the conditions inside the home, with prosecutors describing the house as unsanitary and unlivable.
At this time, all 3 children are still critical, but they are stable. They are all still down at the Augusta Burn Center, and they are receiving care as we speak. When first responders went out to this home, there weren't any adults, there weren't any caregivers inside the home. It was simply the 3 children there by themselves.
Fire Chief Aubrey Jenkins says the conditions inside and the ages of the children have taken an emotional toll on the crew who saved them.
Our firefighters are very broken, because this is something that we see all the time. You see fire victims, but it comes even more when it's a kid. I mean, like I say, it's 6, 4, and 3, and 2. So it becomes more of an emotional trauma even for our firefighters. They have to go in there to have to search and find some kids in a home by some irresponsible parents.
You have to be a different type of person to be able to go through and deal with this type of situation. They are true heroes, because I couldn't imagine the type of stuff that they've seen and had to deal with. Then go back home to their own families and just look after them. That absolutely tragic. And luckily these children are alive. They could have easily gone the other way. They are in critical condition right now, but it's a sad sight when the parents choose to not take care of their kids. Let's keep going though.
Investigators also say the children may have been left alone in the home for at least a week before the fire. The children remain in critical but stable condition at the Burn Center in Augusta. Jamie Wade, News 19 WLTX.
What could you do for a week? A whole week to where you're leaving your children alone. But let's get over into this one more video.
Welcome back to Good Day Columbia. Timer now is 8:11, and happening today, the Columbia Police Department's foundation is holding a donation drive for 3 local children, 6, 4, and 2, who were rescued from a house fire. We have to warn you that some of the details I'm about to mention are graphic. Their mother, Zana Odin, remains jailed on a $300,000 bond after police say she left the children inside the burning home. Prosecutors say the home was filthy, infested with bugs, and the youngest child was malnourished and had maggots and bugs in her diaper. Joining us now to talk about how you can help these children is Deputy Police Chief Myron Kelly. Chief, thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
First off, how were the kids? At last check last week, they were at the Augusta Burn Center.
Yeah,
what do we know?
I was just updated this morning that all 3 girls have been released from the Augusta Burn Center or in transitional housing for later placement through DSS.
Ah, okay.
It's good news.
Oh, that is good news.
Yeah.
Do you, in instances like this, Chief, obviously a lot of people, this has been a week of just sad news dealing with children, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
I know you see this a lot. Do you know if the children will be kept together?
Yeah, so they are going to be kept together at
Okay.
Department of Social Services as they get placed into a more permanent situation in terms of foster home. Yeah.
Chief, you've been very vocal about how upset you've been about this case.
Yeah, I think just for me, I didn't get here by myself. In terms of becoming the deputy chief, I had a community that surrounded me, that cocooned me, from clergy to barbers to community members, to people that help feed me and take care of me, my extended family.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we have to show better of, what we're about in Columbia. So I didn't get here by myself. Someone prayed for me, someone counseled me, criticized me. So that's what Columbia is about. Just, you know, we have to do more of that.
And it feels like these children had no one. Absolutely no one to look after them and care for them the way they truly should have been.
Taking care of one another.
When investigators first got to the scene, I know that you all are still investigating. There's things you can't say. What can you tell us that you all saw when you got there?
Aside from heavy smoke damage and some flames that had been extinguished, just very deplorable living conditions.
Okay.
The house was in disarray. There were clothes thrown about and trash thrown about the house. And we found some kids that were in desperate need of our help immediately. I think the firefighters got there just in the nick of time to pull them from the fire. And as we inspected post-fire, just the housing conditions were just terrible. Absolutely terrible.
So it's possible, had it not been for the fire, that we would not have known these 3 kids were at home.
And that's what we later called the blessing in the mess, because this was a mess, and there was a blessing in that mess for us. Because had this not happened, who knows what those 3 young children would have been exposed to later on. They had been together alone in that house since the 21st, a whole week that we know of that they were alone.
It's a sickening case, and I feel like I'm happy that they are truly been rescued. But let's get over into the AI breakdown just to see what else we can find out about this whole case. So as we know that Miss Owens' 28-year-old mother was arrested and charged with 3 counts of unlawful conduct towards a child after 3 of her young daughters were left home alone during a severe house fire in Columbia, South Carolina. On June 29th, 2026, the Columbia Fire Department responded to a fire and pulled 3 girls ages 6, 4, and 2 from the burning building. No adults were present at the time. During court proceedings, prosecutors revealed that the children had been left completely unattended for at least a week prior to the fire. Reports talk about that the extreme disparity, describing the cockroach infested and with the youngest child severely malnourished and insects found inside the diaper, which is crazy to think about. Authorities reported that Odin actually drove by the scene while the firefighters were extinguishing the flames, but chose to walk away and hide rather than to come forward. Police eventually discovered her hiding in a closet at a nearby apartment complex. 3 children suffered severe burns, smoke inhalation, and they were rushed to the local hospital before being transferred to the burn center in Augusta, Georgia, where they are currently in stable condition and improving. So we know that the father of one of the children, 21-year-old, 21-year-old Malik, was also arrested and charged with 3 counts of unlawful placing of a child at risk after knowing about the situation and failing to notify the police. The judge set her bond at $300,000 and then set the father's bond at $200,000, offering both to house arrest with GPS monitoring if released. The South Carolina Department of Social Services have taken emergency custody of the children. The cause of the fire remains under active investigation by the Columbia Police Department, local fire marshals, and the South Carolina law enforcement for potential arson. So that's what they're investigating about, potential arson. Overall, this is an absolutely tragic case. But luckily, they were rescued, even though they could have, I can't imagine the fear that was going through their minds. But luckily, they have been rescued and taken out of that awful home. And the real question is, where are the other fathers? They said that the father there was one of them. Were the other fathers not wanting to be in their life, in jail? Where were they at? And what were they doing for a week to where they had to leave their children alone to survive for themselves? There are so many sick people in this world who do so much terrible things to children. There's so many people who want children and can't have them, and then you have people like this treating them this way. It's a tragic situation, but let me know your thoughts and let me know if you disagree with anything I said, y'all. Absolutely great.